Hello and welcome to Inside Marvel Darth Vader. I'm Mike Rothman, joined as always by Walt Hickey, Heather Antos, and Jordan White. I guess always not for you guys, but you're with us in spirit. Clayton Sandell is not joining us today. We're going to miss you so much. Just want to say that real quick. And, guys, today is a really slow news day. There's really nothing going on.
Not Star Wars-wise.
We can just talk about Titanic the entire time.
Yeah. We'll tell her the story.
I know the story. I've just never seen the film.
We will get to that later. I opened the can of worms there. I'm sorry. But yeah, we're here to break down the new line of Vader comics. There's also something else going on in the world today and this weekend. Is it your birthday? What's going on?
No, Disney's probably buying a bunch of assets from Fox. Yeah.
Oh.
It's one of the biggest media stories of the year by far. Yeah.
There's also something else going on. Someone else throw up something else that's coming out tonight.
The Last Jedi!
Okay, so we've got a lot to discuss. Let's get into issue 9 first. Walt, do you want to catch up everybody on the series and the issue?
Most definitely. So this chunk of Darth Vader comics takes place after Revenge of the Sith. Something awful has happened to Darth Vader. He became Darth Vader. He's now a young Sith Lord trying to make his way in the world, trying to figure things out, all right? Is he making some mistakes? Yeah, he probably shouldn't have fought that Jedi that time and killed all those people. But he got his lightsaber, and things are good now. He's now competing with a bunch of folks to try to beat up all the remaining Jedi, find the remaining Jedi. He's essentially, this arc has been him addressing Jocasta Nu, who is a librarian. So Darth Vader's fighting a librarian, and he is losing. And it is fascinating. So I defer now to the folks behind the comics.
Someone please
listen, y'all.
Quick clip that off. That's a viral clip. That's amazing. It's all downhill from here the rest of the show.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's losing against a librarian.
She has a very large gun. Anyway.
She does.
Spoilers.
Whoa, guys. So yeah, let's talk about this current issue. A lot of symbolism there, a lot of cool new things. What were you guys particularly excited about for fans to check out?
Her cool new gun. Like, I don't know.
Pretty cool gun.
No, it was.
It's all about violence with you, Heather.
Yeah. Well, so for those who aren't caught up yet, Jocasta Nu at the end of issue 8, she's in the archives and she's battling the Grand Inquisitor, and she whips out this really cool new weapon we haven't seen used in Star Wars before, and it's this Jedi gun. It's a lightsaber-powered gun. She puts her lightsaber in this contraption.
That's how this issue ends.
Oh, whoops.
So don't talk too much about what happens next. But yes.
Spoilers. We put out a lot of comics ads. But yeah. Okay. So she puts it in this gun and can fire blasts basically that are lightsaber powered bolts.
Yes.
The stakes here are pretty big. She's protecting again all the potentially force sensitive folks who are still around. This is very much a last ditch mission to save any potential remaining Jedi.
Yeah, so she's on this mission where she wants to, make a new school, a new Jedi temple, and so that's what.
Who's ever tried to do that before?
I don't know. Well, not before.
Yeah, I know.
The other.
I'm watching what I say.
Right. The other awesome part about this issue is the scene in which Darth Vader follows her into her hidden stash of Force stuff, and there's a guard droid who, first of all, immediately recognizes that Darth Vader is Anakin. He goes, "Oh, I just scanned you. You're Anakin Skywalker. Welcome. But you're probably not supposed to be here. Why don't you head back out?" Darth Vader takes out his lightsaber, throws it at the droid to kill it, and the droid just goes, ding, catches it, goes, I'm here to protect against Jedi sometimes, so obviously I'm ready to fight with a lightsaber.
I've seen Enter the Dragon before,
It's pretty cool.
I've had a lot of downtime. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos.
Yes.
I know how to do this.
But what's interesting about that also is that that's one of the first times Jocasta Nu overhears that, and she's like, Anakin Skywalker, this is not good. Yeah. So that's kind of one of the first times that we've seen either a Jedi or anyone that has connection to Anakin find out that he has turned into this monster. That's an epic moment. I mean, what was going through your mind when you read it?
Well, I was like blown away by it because it always just kind of dawns on you like, oh no, this is it's an immediate betrayal again, and the fear that she kind of feels like Anakin Skywalker was pretty good at being a Jedi and stuff. And
he was a hero in the Clone Wars.
He's a real solid guy, a good figure. I'd write him a recommendation. Then some stuff happened, and essentially, it's got to be like appalling, and just kind of she understands exactly what position she's in at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the first time too that they realize, Anakin survived, Order 66.
Oh, yeah.
And all of this, and yeah, it's at that moment that she's like, oh, well, you survived.
Wonder how he did that.
Yeah, no witnesses got out of the Jedi Temple that day, unfortunately, to say that he was the one. Obi-Wan found out, but I think that's all that knows is Obi-Wan, Yoda.
Obi-Wan's on vacation right now. He's in a desert. He's just kind of catching up on some rays. So
I should have left a note. It's the moral of Star Wars.
P.S. If you see Anakin, run.
yeah, snail mail, something. But there is another teaser. So aside from the gun, there's also we see a little teaser in next week's issue or next month's issue with some kind of cube. Almost looks like a Tesseract, but that's a different Marvel property. What can you tell us about that?
About this, I think we're talking about the secret, the thing that.
We're talking about the secret, Jordan.
The thing that Jocasta thought was so important to protect, that she would go straight into the heart of the Empire, the place that she is least welcome, literally the new palace of the Emperor, to go get it. We can't tell much about
Walt Hickey's address. That's basically where Walt Hickey is. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can't tell you much about that just yet, but you'll see. I mean, what would be so important?
What would be so important?
That she would risk everything for this.
What's her mission, That there's, I don't know.
It's a big deal.
No, it's a dead silence. Okay,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what her mission is.
What else? Okay, so yeah, I got stonewalled on that one. What else can we look forward to? I mean, this is the beginning of an amazing arc. What should we expect coming down the pike? We've already seen him face off against an amazing Jedi and win by being ruthless, much like my friend Walt Hickey is usually. What can we expect coming down?
Well, I mean, I know people are probably very worried that she's going to kill Darth Vader. She's not. We're not going to make that happen. But no, it's going to be an intense battle. Also, not just because they're going to physically fight, but also just because, again, she does know things that he doesn't, and what might he learn in this thing? And why does the Emperor not want Jocasta dead? Because he doesn't.
Yeah, that's something we didn't bring up. Like the Inquisitor's about to kill her, and Darth stops him.
And that's the other thing that I was going to bring up is remember, like, Darth Vader is now in charge of this group of Inquisitors that aren't quite happy about that. Like, they want to be Darth Vader. They want to be the Emperor's pet project, and they're not getting that, So especially with the Grand Inquisitor, there already is this giant animosity between the two of them, and now in person, the Grand Inquisitor is about to, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to take her out, and I'm going to show the Emperor
and
my
he has
worth.
his own bone to pick. Like, he really hates her.
And he has his own personal vendetta against her too. And now Vader's stepping in to be like, yeah, but dude, chill.
That's one thing that I think is really clever about this book. Again, we've been reading this one for a little while now, and one thing that always seemed like such a big challenge with Vader in general is, like, that he's not going to get killed, right? And so managing stakes.
Or do we?
Well, yeah, but managing stakes is hard, and like making sure that you're still fearing for this guy, or still worried about what he does, and like the realization that there are fates worse than death for Jocasta Nu. That there are things that can go wrong for these characters, and how you've managed to like make it like really on the edge of your seat. Whether it was the fight to recover the Jedi Crystal, all that kind of stuff. That's interesting storytelling.
Yeah.
And before we move on to the other books that are coming out right now.
Sure.
We want to call for Facebook questions, because I really would love fans to jump in. If there's anything you want to know about this series or anything else that's going on right now, please hit us up. But there's also a Poe book that came out, a Star Wars book that came out too. What else is? I mean, they're obviously very disjointed in timelines, but
we're jumping all over the timeline. So because. Well, should we go in, I don't know, chronological order? I don't know what way we should go through them.
We got Darth. It's not always about Darth. Marsha.
Darth Vader is back in, as you said, just after Revenge of the Sith. In the original trilogy time period, we've got the Star Wars book and the Dr. Aphra book, both taking place right around the same time between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. That's the one. I was going to say between that and the holiday special, but that's fine.
Is that canon anymore? No, sir. I didn't think so.
We'll see. I'm working on it.
Jordan has particular feelings about the holiday special.
I want to bring that back.
But power to do so.
So let's see. Which issue of Dr. Aphra do we have here?
15.
Let's see.
So second issue. We just revealed
Right.
So basically, yeah, with Dr. Aphra, we just finished her first year, issue 13. She was on this hunt for that Jedi crystal. Did some stuff with the rebels, you know, in Screaming Citadel, and at the end of her first year, she
had everything she wanted.
She had everything she wanted. You know, she survived another encounter with Darth Vader. He still thinks she's dead. All's well in the world. She finally got rid of those nasty, nasty droids that have been, you know, causing some problems for her. And
she was rich.
Yeah, things were going well.
Everything.
She had everything in the world.
So we came back to her second year to find out, oh, she's not so much rich anymore.
Yeah.
And, oh, she's doing this mission she doesn't really like. And why? Well, she's being forced to. Why? Well, those droids that she used to control, now they have enslaved her.
Yeah, they're basically, you know, holding, well, we know Darth Vader thinks you're dead. And we know that he wants you dead. So if he were to find out you were ever alive,
you'd be pretty dead. So that's 000 and BT-1. 000 is he looks like a Black Protocol droid, but really he's a
weapons.
Yeah, like a torturous, psychotic.
They're especially villainous versions of basically C-3PO and R2-D2.
Essentially.
Delightful.
Yeah. Folks just coming to Dr. Aphra, she was, this is Kieran Gillen's book. It's
we should tell you who she is.
His Darth Vader run. She is in many ways kind of a bounty, like it's a Han Solo-ish kind of type, that a roguish thief that worked with Vader for quite some time.
We call her a rogue archaeologist. She likes to dig things up archaeology-wise, but she's not in it for the love of knowledge. She's in it mostly to make money. I mean, she cares about knowledge a bit, but she cares about it more because of what it can get her. She's got very questionable morality. When she teamed up with the rebels, it wasn't out of the goodness of her heart. It was because they had the ability to get her more money.
She can be a bit of a Jack Sparrow. I think that's the easiest.
Sure, there you
she's
go.
not as goofy as Jack Sparrow, you know. And I think she's definitely a lot smarter than Jack Sparrow. But when it comes to, like, she'll just go to the highest bidder. She's going to go for whoever's going to keep her alive, and that's her motives.
Yeah. So one of the breakout characters of the new Star Wars universe in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
So in this particular issue, 000 has assigned her to a mission that we don't quite understand what it is yet, but he's assembled her basically an entire squad of people to pull off a giant heist. And so we're just meeting all those different crazy characters. A couple of them are background characters from Rogue One who we're able to flesh out, which is a lot of fun.
That's cool.
And it's neat. Also, in addition, she had met an Imperial officer named Tolvin, who she had had a run-in with in the first arc that now is back in her life because she keeps running into her, and it's very interesting there. They kind of hate each other, but they're fascinated with each other, so that's fun.
Great. All right. All good stuff. So, moment of truth, guys. So we have to talk about Last Jedi without talking about Last Jedi.
Oh, fun.
I got an idea. Sure. Look, we've all. I'm assuming we all have seen the movie, so we're basically none of us want to lose our jobs or our lives. So why don't we have a one-word reaction? No details, no spoilers. Starting with Walt.
Dang. That's all I'll say.
Bar's high.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Whoa.
I'm gonna go wowzers, bowsers.
That's 2 words.
That's 2 words. It's your own rule.
Yeah. I cheated.
That's not fair.
That's unfair.
No, but
It's altered the terms of the arrangement.
yes, it has.
Pray he does not alter them further.
But yeah, craziness. It's a crazy movie.
Yeah.
Fans are gonna get to see it tonight. We can't say anything else.
We really can't.
And it's terrific. I mean, it's doing very well on Rotten Tomatoes. The early buzz is it's a very good one. The critic response, yes.
Oh, I was going to say, like, a lot of people are worrying that it's 2.5 hours. It's the longest Star Wars film. It doesn't feel that way. And, you know, it's easily a 2.5 hour film that I would sit through.
Rian Johnson recently got tossed the keys to the new forthcoming trilogy, I think it is. And having seen the film, I get why. The guy gets Star Wars in a way that very few people do, I think. And I think people are going to be really excited about it.
I think the beautiful thing about this movie and about the cast and the crew and the director is, and unlike other movies, some other movies in the genre, is they get it, they appreciate it. I mean, Kelly Marie Tran crying on the carpet. That's just kind of stuff that fans can sense and feel. Ryan Johnson just seems like another just like fan of the genre.
Yeah.
He's a fan of movies and he just like loves this stuff, and it's just like it means a lot to kind of see that through and through.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a very long, anxious wait till episode 9. I can't wait.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like,
I mean, we can't say that Jar Jar Binks is in it. Like, obviously, we know
We can't say
Yeah.
that he's in it. Okay.
Yeah, he's in it, and then we talked about some other spoilers that we had. I think obviously, that Titanic crossover was bad.
Mike.
But I do want to get one more around the horn though, because I
Yes.
want to hear about your first Star Wars experiences. Considering we're 40 years in, when did you guys first be connected to the Force?
Me first? Great.
Yeah, it's always you first, buddy.
Yeah, so I watched it as a lot of folks did, just in their living room on a VHS cassette with their dad and that kind of thing. And it was, it always kind of stuck with me because the first time that you see those movies, you do not get those movies. Like, I remember the main question that I had about that was, what happened to Obi-Wan and all that, and the kind of moral entanglements that you get with that. It's a way to talk to kids about big issues and big sweeping morality tales in a really compelling cinematic fashion. So, like, you can talk about the necessity of death and all that kind of thing with a 7-year-old and get a point across in an emotional fashion. So I don't know. The movies are fascinating to me as kind of a way of really bonding different generations together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Heather.
Yeah, for me, it was very similar. I started watching the films with my dad, like watching movies with my dad was just a tradition. He introduced me to Indiana Jones and E.T. and Star Wars. But my first, like, true memory of becoming obsessed was we actually, I'm gonna date myself here, how young I am. But I got to see Phantom Menace as a field trip in elementary school.
Yeah.
And
Wow. That is
yeah,
dating
I
yourself.
know. I won't tell you how old I was, but I did.
She was an 18-year-old kid in elementary school. It's fine.
It's true,
It's
know.
okay.
But yeah, so we went to the theaters, and I remember, like, something clicked with me, and I think a big part of that was,
Jar Jar.
Yes. No. Jake Lloyd was like the same age as I was, and so to see a kid my age have the Force and like do all these cool things and about to be having these cool adventures was just awesome. And I actually hid out in the theater when my class left so I could just sit and watch the movie nonstop. Wow. And I got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you'd think so.
A lot of trouble. But when Attack of the Clones came out and we went to see that in theaters, they still let me go. So.
And I want to get Jordan, and after your story, we have a Facebook question.
Terrific. Well, I'll try to keep it brief then. But I was born in '79, so 2 of the movies were out pretty early before I knew anything in the world. I was just a child. But so I don't remember the first time I saw it. It's always just been a thing I knew and a thing that was a part of my life. But it was a big part of my life growing up. I remember when I was given a lightsaber for probably my birthday one year, and it was not the kind that like retracts like we have nowadays, but it was just the kind that was a long tube and it had like a metal coil in it, so it'd make like wang, wang, wang noises when you would swing it around. And it came with.
Would you like to do a miming of it?
No, it's okay. That's a retracting one. It's not.
Feel free.
It's not the same.
Here we go. It's not the same. I need visuals.
It would go like wang, 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 wang. And there was a. I'll just hold this. There was a.
You have the talking stick. We can just pass around the talking stick.
There was a certificate to fill out. That would make you an official Jedi Knight. And so my mom was like, let's fill it out. And I went, no way. And she was like, why not? And I said, because if I fill that out, I'm going to have to fight Darth Vader. And I don't think I can do that.
Awesome.
That's great.
That really is a good story.
I was philosophizing about Star Wars, even at a very young age.
I thought you were going to say, like, I haven't earned the right to be a
nope.
Jedi. No,
I was
like,
just
no,
like,
I
I'm
don't
not
want to fight
fighting
Darth
Vader.
Vader.
No way.
Fair.
Which leads us to our Facebook question. Gabe wants to know, is Darth Vader the most powerful Sith Lord?
Well, I mean, of all the Sith Lords we're familiar with, what are we familiar with? 4?
Well, are we talking canon?
Canon, yes, of course.
Because if we're
Are you going to go to, like, Darth Bane? Is that what you're thinking of?
well, or Revan.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking
Bane is
canon.
great, though. Bane is really great.
Bane is great.
That we've
That's
actually...
something I'd like to explore in the future.
The ones,
sorry.
No, it's okay.
We've lost 30% of the audience with that phrasal.
The ones that are officially... that we know officially in canon, we have Darth Vader, Darth Sidious,
Yeah.
Darth Tyrannus, Darth Maul, and Darth Plagueis. So that's only 5, right? Do we know of any others?
Apparently, Plagueis had a drinking problem and was murdered in his sleep. So let's discount him.
Well, we have heard very little about him in the new canon.
Yeah.
The lies. Sorry.
I mean, obviously, it would be easiest to say Sidious is the most powerful, but Vader chucks him off a cliff, and he seems pretty dead. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. So probably Darth Vader's the most powerful. His midichlorian count is higher than Master Yoda's.
Whoa.
He just went there. And
That's a high midichlorian.
But his arch enemy is sand. So when you have a weakness like that, it's
And
really...
the count of sand is far higher
Right.
than his midichlorian count.
He is outnumbered.
It gets everywhere.
So before we go, I do want to get everyone's take on the big news today that Disney. Oh, this leads me to my this is such a great time that Disney also owns ABC News and Marvel as well as Lucasfilm. Just a nice little disclaimer there. But they're also in the process of buying 21st Century Fox, parts of 21st Century Fox.
Right.
And what does this mean for fans, I think, that don't know? Because obviously for a while now, some fans see the movies and don't know that they're not connected in the universe because obviously different studios, different rights. What are you excited about with the potential of this deal?
Yeah, again, it gives a lot of opportunity for the Marvel Films folks especially to bring in other components of the universe that wasn't previously available. It basically just gives them options. I imagine there have been a lot of plans moving forward for how to proceed with the current IP held by the company, right?
Yeah.
But I think that this just gives them new opportunities to tell more stories. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think it'll be very fun to watch how it goes. Again, these kind of things have to hop through regulatory hurdles. I'm really interested to see how these companies come together.
What do you guys think? I mean, again, obviously without just making guesses and that kind of stuff.
I mean, as a big fan of the Marvel movies, I think that Marvel Studios knows the characters so well and does a great job with them. So as much as I enjoy some of the Fox films that they've done, I think Marvel will do an even better job. So I'm very excited to get a new take on, presumably, a new take on the Fantastic Four, a new take on even the X-Men. I think that could be really, really cool, and a way to merge that in with the Avengers world, that'd be neat.
Yeah, it'd be really cool. I mean, we've seen the transition of Spidey just this past year, and how well received it was, and how well done it was. Like, it just, having this happen on the tails of this new Spidey movie just makes me so excited for all of the possibilities that could come.
And it's so funny because I think of Kevin Feige, who runs Marvel Studios, and I didn't know his connection to X-Men, the original X-Men. He was on the set, and I've read that he basically was helping to make Wolverine's hair more coiffed.
Yeah,
and
as you do.
Just stuff like that.
That Joanna Robinson piece of Variety.
Yeah, just little details like that about obviously adding the real intricacies from the books, which I think that is really what I'm excited about is getting more of that. Someone brought up to Hugh Jackman yesterday during an interview for The Greatest Showman, and
why would they do that?
I don't know. I kind of wanted to be that reporter, but it's funny because he's always said the only way he'll come back is if he's part of the Avengers, and he kind of walked it back a little. He's like, look, I think the ship sailed for me, but he's excited as well, and so I just love the Deadpool. I mean, Ryan Reynolds already tweeted out the stuff that we can't repeat because obviously it's R-rated. But making jokes about the mouse and stuff, I think it's just great. It'll be a nice crossover and things to say.
Whereas on the Star Wars side of things, I don't know that it would change anything because I think I don't know exactly how that all goes down.
The
now
original cuts.
The Marvel and the X-Men are going to cross
Right,
over.
exactly.
Did you get that
Star
memo?
Wars and the X-Men.
Perfect.
Star Wars and the X-Men.
We were talking about the Versus series. I think Darth Vader versus Wolverine would be amazing.
That would be pretty awesome.
On the Star Wars front, there is the potential because 20th Century Fox owns the distribution rights to the original trilogy. So there's potential on that front. But what that means, who knows? Literally, this is the morning of a major corporate announcement. No. So anything
and it
is
probably
game.
won't be settled for a year or more.
At most,
Yeah.
Regulators got to hop in. This is all, it's fascinating, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that about sums us up. Thank you guys for another amazing show. I mean, it's the last show of the year, I think. So I just want to say,
Happy Life Day.
Yeah.
That was
Happy
last
Life Day.
month.
Yeah.
Oh, it
seriously.
was?
Technically,
Well, that's on me. I'm sorry.
technically Life Day's in November.
You're ruining my sentimental sign-off. I just want to thank you guys for coming, over and over again. I want to thank Walt for being the worst partner in crime possible. I want to thank Clayton, who's not here this week, and give a shout out to David and Josh behind the scenes who are producing it. And thank you guys for watching.